Hello, everyone. Welcome to FREEWrite Friday. My name is Jessica Lynn Johnson, and I am the founder of Soaring Solo Studios. And this company is dedicated to the development and direction of one-person plays. I am privileged to work with two outstanding women, Kamakshi Hart and Heather Dowling, who are part of my creative team. And we work with solo artists or aspiring solo artists from all over the globe. And I personally have aided in the development and direction of over 150 solo shows and have worked with hundreds of solo artists in the 20 plus years that I've been in this industry. And I've also toured as a solo artist myself with my two solo shows. I'm on the advisory board with the Los Angeles Women's Theater Festival, and I blog for NoHo Arts. I have a blog called Soaring Solo, and it has a bunch of tips and tools for solo artists. So you can always find me on the NoHo Arts website and get some free content there as well. So that's a little bit about me and my life in solo, and I would love to hear from all of you. So please feel free to say hi in the chat and let me know where in the world you're tuning in from. Let me know where you're at in your solo journey. Maybe you're just starting out and you're curious and you're not sure if it's for you yet, or maybe you're already touring, or you've got some excerpts written or first draft written, or wherever you are, it's all good. Just let me know, because I'd love to support you in that wherever I can. So the mission of FREEWrite Friday is just to make little baby steps of progress at a time, so that ultimately you can look back and you've gone on the journey of creating your solo show, of touring your solo show, and having manifested what is likely a dream for you or a goal of yours. And FREEWrite Friday is just actionable steps of making that happen. So we get together, I give you a writing prompt, and then you write, and that's really it. So it's not a forum for Q&A. That's really reserved for my free Saturday class, which I do once a month. That's a space in my free Saturday class where you can ask questions and share your work and get feedback. But this is really just to make some progress in writing and learning about structure and other writing prompts and things like that. And each FREEWrite Friday is really meant to be a standalone, even though I am looking at bigger structural framework. You can still watch an individual FREEWrite Friday and use the prompt and get something from it. So the next one that we're going to be having is on Friday, April 21st at noon Pacific, 2 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Eastern. So you can sign up the way that you did today, and which is just on my website, and you'll get the email confirming. And housekeeping, if you're going to be doing anything too distracting, please just go ahead and turn your camera off. Otherwise, I'm always happy to see your beautiful faces. And please make sure that you have something nearby you to write with or write on, or if you're somebody who likes to use an audio device and just speak your thoughts and improvise and then transcribe later, that works too. Both are very welcome. Okay, so so we've been looking at Save the Cat, which was written by Blake Snyder, and it's really for screenplays, for screenplay development. But I love to look at different structures and different modalities and look at them through the lens of a solo artist. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And again, you're not behind if you didn't see all the other Save the Cat videos that I've done. You can go to my YouTube channel and watch them later if you want. But even if you're just coming in today for the first time, you will definitely still get something out of it. So today we're looking at beat 7 in the Save the Cat structure, and it is called the B story, So, the A story is exactly what you would think. It's the primary story, the primary thing that the protagonist is in pursuit of. It's what we, when we're pitching the show, it's usually the thing that we're talking about is what the show is about. And then the B story is kind of like the subplot. So in a solo show, there's a few different ways to look at that, the A story and the B story. As a coach, what I often find is the A story is what we think we're writing about, what we think the show is about, and the B story is what we discover in the process of writing the show. And so I'll give you an example. So with my own work, when I was writing my second solo show, Z, I was coming from an Anna Devere Smith sort of documentarian style solo show, and I was interviewing a lot of people. And so for Z, I was trying to look into what is healthy sexuality, like what is that? And as I was writing the show, I really discovered that it was actually about the B story, it was a love story about these two characters, Ray and Tessa, who were the characters in the show. And, you know, Tessa learning that she was in love with her transgender best friend, and, you know, being honest with herself about those feelings and that relationship. So that's what the show really was about. But when I sat down to write it, I thought it was about something quite different. And so I still followed the trail of the A story, but the B story was always unveiling itself throughout the process of writing. So I'll give you some other examples. With Kamakshi, who I mentioned earlier as a part of the team, with Kamakshi's first solo show, Wild at Heart, the A story was about her really talking about the sexual trauma that she's been through in her life, you know, molestation and rape and just, you know, a lot of things throughout her childhood into adulthood. And that's the A story. We're talking about sexual trauma. The B story that really started to emerge during the process was about shame, and the shame that she was still as an adult carrying and battling, and was keeping her stuck and making decisions in her life that weren't serving her. And so through the exploration of the B story, the A story gets resolved. She even made a character of shame in her show, and that was one of the main characters throughout the show that transformed the relationship with her and shame by the end of the show. Or in Fertile, which is Heather Dowling's show, the other woman that I mentioned, who's part of Soaring Solo, her show Fertile, the A story, the character Jenny, who's loosely inspired by Heather herself, the character Jenny is trying to get pregnant, and it's all about the different modalities of a modern woman trying to get pregnant when she's having a hard time with fertility. The B story that started to emerge was her spirituality, her connection to higher power, to God, her connection to herself, and learning to let go of control and her own plans, learning to surrender. And by the end of the show, recognizing that she didn't think working this hard to get pregnant was something that served the character anymore. It wasn't what she wanted to do anymore. She just wanted to surrender the whole situation, which she does in the show. So those are a couple of different examples of how I would use what Blake talks about with A story and B story and apply it to solo. So for today's purposes, I'm going to give you 8 minutes to write. And maybe what I've been talking about is already brought up. You're already like, oh, I know what I want to write about. But if you're a little stuck, I would say maybe start with looking back on your past and saying, okay, was there ever an experience in your life where you thought, I'm having this experience for this reason, this is what I'm doing? And then when you look back, you're like, no, actually, that experience was for this reason. I just didn't know it at the time. So maybe an example would be you're in pursuit of a certain career, right? Your goal is a certain career. And then through maybe the doors that closed in your face or bad experiences in that career, you actually discovered that you were meant for a totally different career. Or same thing with a relationship. Maybe you had your eyes on a particular person and relationship working out. And then through that, the ways that harmed you or just wasn't the right fit, you recognized, oh, this is the type of person I want to be with, or I'm not cool in my own skin. I don't even need another person, or whatever the discovery was. So for today, I want you to just think about your A story, the thing that you thought you were in pursuit of, and the B story that actually started to reveal itself throughout that journey and that process. There's no way to do this wrong or mess it up. So just let yourself express on the page. I'm going to set the timer for 8 minutes and just write about whatever came up for you during this conversation. And if you if I am unclear in any way and you want to write me a private message, that's fine. I'll let you know when your 8 minutes are up. All right, go for it. A little over 4 minutes left, a little over 4 minutes. Just 1 minute left. Okay, please go ahead and wrap up your writing. Hope you got something interesting out of that. I would say, a takeaway that I would offer from what we just explored is pay attention to what comes up for you during your process, during your creative process. We always think, oh, the product of the solo show, like that's where our focus is, the product. But the process of creating it often has a lot to reveal to us about things that need to go into the show or things that need to color the show. So pay attention to that. Maybe you even keep like a separate journal going of like what comes up for you as you're writing the show. And that might start to get sprinkled in, and it might reveal a B story for you. Let's see. So the last thing I'll say on that is that, you know, a lot of times I think that solo work, because of how unique it is, you know, standing in our own power on stage, sharing vulnerably and bravely, even if we're, you know, sharing pieces about historic figures or, you know, like a merging of our own story and other stories. Like I said, Z had a lot of things from my own real life, but it was also infused with a lot of research and interviews I had done. So it was kind of an amalgamation of things, a composite piece of sorts. Even if that's the case, this work will bring up things in us that want to be enhanced, transformed, maybe healed, growing and growth that needs to happen. And that's a good thing. And that's what's so awesome about this genre. So don't run away from that, lean into that and see what parts of that might want to make their way into the writing and into the show presentation. That's your gold. So just know that that's part of the process, and it's part of the process for everybody. I mean, I have a lot of clients who will say, wow, you know, I thought I was over this, or I thought, you know, I looked at this one way, and now that I'm writing about it, now that I'm digging deeper, I'm starting to have, you know, a shift in my paradigm, or I'm having, you know, different feelings come up, and that's all normal. It's part of the process. So if that happens to you, like I said, don't run away, dig in, trust that that's part of the process. And it's a really good thing for you both creatively and personally. Okay, so I'm just going to jump through some Soaring Solo announcements. We always have a lot of awesome stuff happening in our community, and we are all about community and supporting each other. Even though it's a one-person show, it takes everybody, it takes a tribe to make it happen. So I'm just going to tell you about some things, and if any of it sounds good to you, great. I put in the chat as well these different things that are happening. So first and foremost, my free class, The Art of Creating the One-Person Play, is happening on Saturday, April 15th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. So you can sign up under free stuff or events on my website. If you're interested in taking what we did today further, if you want to read to me what you wrote, well, you can do it in class, in my free class, or you can also book a consultation with me. I do small groups, which are kind of like writers' rooms for solo artists that I lead. We do intensives for 3 weeks focused either on character work or structure, power pair sessions, which is me and 2 other artists, and Heather and Kamakshi also lead these things. So all to say, if you're serious about this or curious about this and you want to take it to the next level, email me or fill out a contact form on my website, and I'd be happy to see what might be the right next step for you. I also am a big believer in put a stake in the ground, have something that you're working toward to make it real, and a good safe stake a lot of the times, but realistic stake to put in the ground is a reading, whether that's in person or virtual. A reading is a really powerful thing to get you motivated and to have something real that you're working toward. So I host the Revealed virtual reading series. We actually have one in a week by Christian Ty Edwards. So you can look for that on my website soon. I'm going to be putting that up today. But Revealed is an opportunity to have a new solo script read in front of a virtual audience, get feedback. We do a Q&A and talk back afterward. And then the artist can take that in and decide what resonates and that they want to infuse, and what they want to cast aside that doesn't resonate. So if you're interested in being a part of Revealed, you can email me about that as well. Again, soaringsoloartist@gmail.com, and we can look at the calendar and get a date that's far enough away that you have time, but not too far away that you're not really working on it, and work toward that together. What else? So the next FREEWrite Friday, like I mentioned at the beginning, is Friday, April 21st at noon Pacific. So I put the link in there. And if you missed any FREEWrite Fridays and you want to go back and watch them, just go to my YouTube channel, Soaring Solo LLC on YouTube, and you can find, like, I don't know, probably have like 200 videos on there at this point of all kinds of different things. And then there's just a lot of festivals happening in our community and beyond. And so please go get involved, meet people, network, get involved in the solo theater market if this is something that you want to pursue. So next week, if you're in Los Angeles, is the LA Women's Theater Festival. And I am so sad I'm going to be missing it. My brother is getting married, which is happy. I'm very happy, but I'm in the bridal party. And so I will be in St. Louis, Missouri doing that. But the festival is still happening, the LA Women's Theater Festival. And I would really encourage you, if you're in the surrounding area of Los Angeles, to check it out. It's lawtf.org for more information, or you can go to my website and I have information there too. And the Joshua Tree Solo Theater Festival that I'm co-producer of is happening the last weekend of April. And it's actually also kind of a retreat. And we have people coming in from all over, not just LA locals. And I have 4 spots left to stay on campus with us and have the VIP experience. It's only $250 for the whole weekend, and that includes your lodging. You do have to pay for food, but other than that, all the classes, all the events, the lodging is taken care of, and I have 4 spots left. So if you want to join us for the Joshua Tree Retreat and Festival, please message me right away, because that's going to fill soon. And yeah, so I put in the chat various festivals that are happening. Solo Fest is still happening at Whitefire, and Hollywood Fringe is going to be here in June. So there's a lot of things, but the point is, start to get involved in this market, see other solo shows and other solo artists do their thing. That is going to teach you what does and does not resonate for you. And then we have 2 local events that are happening in person. We've been trying to get some in-person stuff going in Los Angeles, post the height of the pandemic. We've been really trying to get in person again, and not always be on Zoom, even though I am grateful for Zoom. We have Kamakshi is going to be leading Writing in the Wild. So that's going to be in Topanga on April 2nd, which is a Sunday, from 2 to 5 p.m. And she is a vision quest guide. She does like equestrian therapy. She does all kinds of things outdoors. Like, she's an exceptional woman. She's trauma-informed coach and also an award-winning solo artist. So she's going to be leading the group to go into the wild of Topanga and write and create, and she'll lead you through exercises and be in nature and be in community. That's only $39, and we do still have availability for that. So I put that in the chat. And then tomorrow, Heather is going to be leading the Creating Captivating Characters for Your Solo Show boot camp. It's a 1-day boot camp, and she will meet you wherever you're at. So if you're like, I haven't written anything, but I'd love to learn about characters in solo show, that's awesome. And if you're pretty far along in your process and you just want to polish some characters and look at your solo theater technique, she will meet you there as well. But again, it's just to be in person in Hollywood, look at the difference between ensemble technique for characters and solo technique, which are vastly different, especially if you're doing a dialogue scene where you're rapidly going back and forth between sometimes like 5 different characters. There's technique for that can really ground you. So that's also just $39, and that's happening tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon in Hollywood. All of this information is on my website, but you can also email me and I'd be happy to connect you. And I think that's pretty much it. So I will leave the chat up for a few minutes so you can jot down whatever you want. And like I said, email me with any questions, but thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you got something valuable out of it, and good luck on your solo journey.